Thank you for joining me. I am Suzanne Tidkemeyer. I used to write a column for a place called Pathos for over 10 years. A column called No Longer Quivering that dealt with the evangelical quiverful movement. It dealt with all the non-denominational, high-demand religious organizations, the real CULTs. So I wrote about that for over 10 years, and I used to do a ton of book reviews for that particular site, mostly about religious books. So I launched initially a book review site. Well, not site, but book reviews sometimes on my channel. And then real life got in the way. And I'm trying to return to it. I call it Handbaskets to Hell because when I was part of Pathos and was working through my own salvation and deconstruction, reconstruction, I used to have so many Christians that would say to me, "You're going to hell." I would always say, "Well, I'm decorating my basket. I've got candles, I've got crackers and cookies and snacks, I've got soft pillows. So it's going to be an enjoyable ride. And I don't want to spend eternity with people like you." I used to tell them that. Um, I don't do that anymore, but I still like the review name. Now, I'm going to review a book that is not religious oriented. So it's not like the ones that I really love to do reviews on, like Doug Wilson's book about sex robots or Von Ullman's courtship book. That was a humdinger, a stinker. This one has to do with my own nerdy self. The Most Human by Leonard Nimoy's son, Adam Nimoy, who's a few years older than myself. One of the things that I've always been fascinated with is public and private personas of people, how different they can be. And the reason that I'm doing a review of this book is it does fit with what we talk about at No Longer Quivering and on my channel here. How many times have we talked about deconstruction, reconstruction? We talk about recovering from a religion, and w- this is not about religion in any way, shape, or form. Adam is Jewish, but it is a journey. It's a journey that has to deal with his relationship with his father. And not only that, there was a um, relationship he had with marijuana. He was addicted to it and started going to AA. I loved Al-Anon the years I went that had to do with, being part of a large drunken Cajun family. I had to understand that and unpack it. So Adam talks a lot in the book about AA once he hits going off marijuana, which he smoked for many years. And I was kind of surprised to read that because I'm in his age group roughly. And I remember how pervasive the weed culture was and how a lot of people reached a certain age and just stopped smoking. I know that's what happened for me. And I didn't even know it was physically possible to be addicted, but apparently it is. So the book is actually filled with all kinds of useful information on how to cope with having a drug addiction or a personality disorder or anything like that. Not saying that having depression or that sort of thing is a personality disorder, but it gives you a lot of tools. He spouts a lot of cliches from AA in the book, which is good because cliches are good ways to say something simple to explain it, as Jimmy Buffett said. Now I'm paraphrasing him. And those things can be a good thing. I was unaware until I read the book that Leonard Nimoy himself had been an alcoholic and had to do AA to get himself right again, the 12 steps, right down to admitting there's a higher power over your life and whatever that looks like. Well, his son Adam's road was a little bumpier, And he and his father clashed all the time. And I was kind of like that as a teenager too with my father. I just could not get along with him at all. So I can relate to that. But I was able to patch my relationship up very quickly and go back to being simpatico with him. It took Adam a span of years. And his father, I don't want to say he was neglectful because whatever neglect occurred wasn't because of anything except his fame and his commitment to his fans and to the Star Trek franchise. I am a huge fan of Star Trek. I always have been since those long ago marijuana days. We get off the bus from high school, smoke a little weed, and go watch Star Trek at 4 p.m. in our area. They play the episodes. So that was something that I did, and I always loved Leonard Nimoy as Spock, but he does seem rather cold, and apparently, according to his son, that wasn't always easy for him to turn off when he went home at night. So you have these two men, these two wonderful yet deeply flawed men who are struggling with similar things, and they're struggling to have a relationship with each other. So, the subtitle is reconciling with my father. And that's the book. It's his journey out of weed and into a relationship with his father. And it was fraught with ups and downs and him working his program. If there is anybody in your life that has problems with alcohol, marijuana, whatever kind of drug or substance it is, gambling, whatever, there is an AA group for that. Gamblers Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. I don't know if they have Marijuana Anonymous, but they may have that by now, particularly since we live in a time where marijuana is cheap. It's not cheap, easy to get, and legal in a lot of places. I have a feeling as time goes on, we're going to see more people addicted to it. So, all in all, if I had to rate this book, I would give it 9 stars because I hate to give away 10. Excellent. Excellent read for my least favorite time of the year here, rainy season. Rainy season is when I read a lot of books here because I'm not outside looking at the monkeys or doing anything else. I'm in the house. Ugh. So that's where we are with all of this. So if you're on your journey trying to put yourself back together again, much of this applies to those of us who are trying to recover from toxic religion. There's a lot of good information and even silly cliches that Alcoholics Anonymous use. Cliches. And they're good to have in your mind, particularly when you're trying to combat the theology that is still in here after you leave for some years and take some time and intentionality. Whoa, it just lightning here real hard. Thunder and Tamarindo. Rainy season, my dudes. Very rainy season. So those are just my thoughts on the book, my opinion, and hit like, subscribe, ring the bell notification if you will. And I will be back. I'm trying to knock out all the books that I recently read that I owed the author a review on, I felt for whatever reason, and I thought would be beneficial for my audience of people who are leaving religion. These things, the funniest things can help you, and some of the things aren't, quote, religious, but they actually help. I believe Adam's book is one of those. So again, this is one of those ones that I recommend highly to anybody struggling with themselves, the most human. He had to be the most human. He had to relearn how to be human after all that marijuana, and his father had to relearn how to be a human after Spock and his alcoholism. That's all a good thing. See you guys later.